What's up, guys? Welcome back to Keto Rewind. I'm Jess and I have Mom here again, and we're going to do a fun recipe today that we get asked about a lot
all the time
on this channel. We're going to make our own bacon today.
Now, we have been for almost a year now. So.
We've been showing you our homemade bacon for a while.
Oh, at least a year.
At least since this summer or past summer. So now we're going to show you how to make your own bacon. Now, why would you want to make your own bacon? Well, it's loaded with sugar, most bacon. It's easy to make sugar-free.
It's so cost-effective.
And it's cheaper, much cheaper.
By far.
And overall, it's not hard to do.
No. The only one expense that I have found, but it's already paid for itself, is you have to have a meat slicer. And but you can slice
turkey,
everything on it.
You can slice all kinds of things.
So it's paid for itself. But that initial first time you use it, you're like, man, I hope this is good. That's $165. It's about that. You can actually put a link to the machine that we use.
All the equipment that
because we both have the same one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the equipment that we use in this video, I'll link below. You could probably just use a knife and, you know, that kind of, I mean, it's a little harder, but I mean, it's possible if you have a really sharp knife or you're a chef and you have really sharp knives.
They probably have their own recipe.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, this recipe was inspired from a YouTuber that we both follow for a while now. Check out Serious Keto. I will link his channel down below. It's his recipe. We just made our own taste changes based on our tastes, make it kind of ours. So we're gonna show you how we make it, but it's originally his recipe. So I'm gonna post the link down below.
And you'll hear me keep saying Serious Steve, Serious Steve. That's what I call him. I've never met the man, but I call him Serious Steve.
So anyways, we will go ahead and turn the camera around and show you how easy it is to make your own bacon. Okay, so now I'm gonna zoom in here and show you what we're working with. We got this pork belly from Costco, and you're gonna use a pork belly to make your bacon. This is roughly almost 9 3/4 pounds.
I tried to go for 10 pounds for $30.
So it averages out to be, you know,
$3 a pound. So, which is really inexpensive, but mostly all of their slabs at Costco are about the same. They're from 27 to 31 or $2, and they're from like 8.5 pounds to maybe 11 pounds. And this recipe will be fine up to about 11 or 12 pounds. You'll be fine.
All right, so this is what you're gonna need. We'll go through the spices. We have, looks like minced garlic.
Yeah.
What do we have? Bay leaf.
Bay leaf, chili pepper, whole peppercorns, brown sugar.
Swerve brown sugar. That's the kicker here.
We're gonna skip this right now. And regular Himalayan salt.
Okay.
The secret.
And then we need these big bags.
You need
big
the 5
Ziploc.
The 5 gallon Ziploc bags. I suppose you could get the smaller ones, but this is what we have found that works. And you need 2 of them for every batch.
And links for those will be in the Amazon and down below in the description box.
Okay, so one thing you have to know about meat this is going to be cured. It's a curing process. What we do, I don't remember all the specifics, but apparently we use pink salt #1. There's also one that's #2, but for us and for this recipe, this is the one that we use. There's a chemical reason why you use this. This is what makes your food cure. And we all like that cured feeling like that. They use this for hams. They use this. As a matter of fact, I just saw a recipe from Serious Steve that he's making Canadian bacon. That's my next project. But we're just doing regular bacon. So that you have to make sure that you get the pink curing salt #1. That we get from Amazon. The bags we get from Amazon.
All right, and now what do we do?
All right. The first thing you do, I like to prep all my ingredients first. And the reason I do that is because this happens fast. This is so simple. So I have everything laid out. We like a peppery bacon. So I go full on into about, let's see what I do about 6 tablespoons, 4 to 6 tablespoons of the black peppers, peppercorns. You put them in the bag, a Ziploc bag, and then you just beat them.
With a meat tenderizer or
them. Yeah, you can use a spice grinder,
or...
but I have found if you use black pepper in a spice grinder, you know, like the little Cuisinart, the residue is hard to get off, and any other spice you use has this like flavoring of black pepper. So I don't put black pepper in a spice grinder. I would rather break it up like this. And because I like the texture, now I've released the volatile oils, the driver part of black peppercorns. This is probably the single, next to the curing salt, this is the most important ingredient. Next thing is, we like it, we are not afraid of spice, so this is about two heaping teaspoons of the chili flakes. And again, not afraid of the spice. I like organic bay leaves. You just have to chop them all up finely. And this is about 6 to, I think that's 8. That's 8. I think I used 8 bay leaves in that. And then garlic. Now, interestingly, when I first made it, I used this 8 to 10 cloves like Steve had recommended. I don't like a heavy garlic flavor in my bacon. I would prefer the garlic in my eggs and everything else I cook with. But when it comes to the garlic, I want it light. I want it subtle. And I've done this bacon my 2 favorite ways after we've been doing it for so long. This is basically a pepper bacon, which I like. I like the sweet and the hot flavor. But I've also added, instead of totally brown sugar, I've added the Lakanto brown sugar, maple syrup. So now and I've backed down on the pepper, and now you've got your maple flavored bacon, which is really nice. Most people love that, but we like the hot and sweet blend.
Hold your thought. And speaking of maple syrup, this maple syrup by New Naturals is absolutely the best maple flavored syrup there is to date. I have tried all of them. And this one is the first one that I actually like. And plus it's shelf stable, so you don't have to put it in the fridge. It's sweetened with erythritol, but there's no cooling taste. Let me see if I get the macros. The vegetable glycerin is your actual sweetener. So then it has stevia and just stevia is the other sweetener. So overall, I mean, if I'm gonna have a maple flavored bacon, this is the one I'll be using. When I make like anything that uses maple syrup, this is my new go-to. So,
and being a Yankee originally, you like and you are
Vermont and New Hampshire maple syrup
connoisseur.
Like
that one is the number one. I would say Lakanto is right behind it because you don't get, but this one is awesome.
Even better.
Awesome. And it's like almost as good. It is the consistency of real maple syrup. This is awesome, I know. But for this recipe and for us in this process, that maple syrup is kick butt.
All right, so how do you make it?
All right, so now you take your meat, and if you look, you want to pick a meat that kind of looks, you want the most...
how you want your bacon to look like.
How you want your bacon sliced.
So look at the sides.
Because what we have found, okay, the grain usually goes corner to corner. And they always say cut against the grain. Well, what has consistently worked for us is when it's all done and it's smoked, this way works really good and this way works really good too. Now that's a handy dandy looking piece of bacon. So that's it for preparing your meat. So the next step is, let's just prepare our blend. So I'm just going to take the garlic, the bay leaf, the chili pepper, the black pepper, the sweetener that we all love, the pink curing salt. This makes the magic happen. And the pink Himalayan salt, again, full of nutrients, makes it all happen. And I take this and I just start it with the spoon because I prefer to use nature's spoon and nature's tools. Just kind of get it going and then just use your hands and crumble. You know, you want to take advantage of the moisture that's in the brown sugar. And the smell coming from this, can you smell it already?
It smells great.
Awesome. Now you see that blend? You see how that looks? That is what you're curing your bacon with. I wish that you could smell this, and you will. All right, so now that's how easy it is. We take it to the next step. Okay, so now the first thing we're going to do is get our bag together. And what you're going to do put it in there, fat side up. And you're going to take about 25%. So what I have found out is pretty much you have 4 handfuls in that blend, and that is what you're going to use, because there's going to be 4 sides that you're going to cure, top and bottom, top and bottom. So this is going to be, I'll show you. The first thing is you get your first scoop and you cover it. Don't be so picky about coverage. It all works out and it's fabulous. And what I really love is the fat just really, really picks up the flavor. Okay, now that's the first step. Now you take your bag and you flip it. Now remembering that you're going to use 50% now, not 25. You're going to use 2 handfuls here. So there's 1, and I'll tell you why you're going to do that. So you do that heavy, and here's 2. I might just do a little bit more there. I want good coverage here. You really want good coverage on this inner piece. Okay, can you see how that looks? You've got really good coverage. Oh man, the odor, the smell
so good.
is awesome. You're taking this, okay, and you're gonna flip it onto it. That's why you got your 50. So you have fat on one side and fat on the other side. Now on this piece, you want to get it in there so it can all get some good coverage there. Flatten it out. You're going to take the rest, which is your last 25%. It's always hard to get that last little bit out. And you're going to cover that. You want it all.
And this is going to be like a 1 week long process.
Right. But it's so simple that it's not a big bloody deal. All right. Now, anything that's fallen down here, I'm all about running it along the sides. So you got a little bit here. Use it up. Okay, now that actually is pretty much it. Let the curing process begin. So at this point, what I do, you can see they're in there on top of each other. You got, see that? Good coverage. You want to get a lot of the air out. You don't, because air is not good at this point. And you want to seal it up. Now, as this begins, and it's real important, I want you to double and triple check that you've got this.
Don't skimp on the
sealed.
bag.
Don't, make sure don't have any holes, and it truly is sealed. Because as this cures, the meat actually weeps liquid. You don't want that liquid winding up in the bottom shelf of your refrigerator. So what we do, that is the first bag, but we double bag it.
Safety first, double wrap it.
Yeah. So we'll go to this counter. And then what I also do is I change it so it goes in this way. Because you don't want your seams on top of seam. Just in case there's a lot of weeping going on, and every cut has its own amount of moisture that actually leaks out of it. Okay, so now we've got a double bag sealed. Again, double check, because this is going to get flipped every day this week. Double check that your seams are tight and completely closed. And that is it. This now goes into your refrigerator. Keep it on a bottom shelf. Just, you're going to need a refrigerator. We have extra refrigerators, so it's like no big deal here. So this will go on the bottom shelf of the refrigerator. Every day, every single day for 5 days, you're going to open up the refrigerator door and go, and and close the door. Day 2, you're going to go in there and flip it. You're going to do a flip every 5 days.
Every day for 5 days.
Yes. And we'll be back in 5 days so you can see what the next step is. But tell me that isn't easy. You can't. And you can't beat the flavor.
All right, we'll be back.
Hi, we're back now 5 days later after the bacon has been flipped every single day. And today's it's big day. And if you remember, I said to double bag everything, and let me show you why. If you can get in there, see, they do leak. So if you didn't double bag it, this would be in the bottom of your fridge. So make sure you just, word to the wise, do double bag. What you do next is, and actually it's kind of messy, so I'm going to take this right over to the sink. Take the first bag out. And there you go. I wonder if it didn't seal. See, now it's sealed. So where it weeped out from, who knows? But it does. So always make sure that you do double bag. So the next thing you're going to do is see your meat. Now do you see it's kind of changed color a little bit? And it seems a little like velvety. And that's the curing process. So take out both pieces. All right. And now it needs to go for a bath. But you don't have to go crazy with the bath. Because, you know, it's okay for them to smoke with some of these, the spices on it. So I just basically get the big stuff off. On this side. On this side. And I forgot to get my pan. Let me just get my pan. All right. The pan is always better because now what we need to do now is have good circulation around the meat. So I usually put it on a rack in a sheet pan. And it doesn't matter right now what side up you do because it's a whole nother process here. All right. The next thing you do, I do actually pick off the bay leaves. The next thing you want to do is stop the drying process. So just take a paper towel, pick up all the extra moisture on both sides. Actually, it fits better that way or this way. And same thing, just pat it dry. And we'll do the same to the next piece. Actually, I'm going to pat it dry in the sink and then transfer it over. Okay, so the actual pan isn't quite big enough because of the shape, and I've got a little overhang, which is perfectly fine. So I just set up a foil to protect the counter and still allow it to have plenty of air. And this is it. You let it set here. The goal, or the reason we're doing this, is it will form what they call a pellicle. And after about, and you'll notice this in the beginning, when you just touch it, if you can get a little closer, you can see, it's still, see, it's velvety. It's kind of got a velvety feel to it. After the pellicle has formed, it's got the more hard, what we know and expect with bacon. It's a little more firm, and that's what we're going for. That can take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. It depends on the humidity in the house, just overall temperature. We've had them pellicle up in 2 hours, and other times it's taken up to 4. So let it rest here on the counter, and I'll see you back here when it's ready for the next step. All right, so today it's been about 3 hours. The climate here was perfect to get the pellicle to form a little bit sooner than normal. But here it is. As you can see, you saw the picture before, and if you look at it now, it seems drier and it's much harder. There is a definite difference. There's a little more resistance when you touch it. So from this point now, it's ready to go onto the smoker. We like to use applewood or cherry wood, or what was the other one that we use? We haven't tried it yet, but apparently maple is good too. But we usually use apple or cherry, where in New England, apple is pretty much what we use all the time. And that's what the wood you're going to use for the smoker. You're going to smoke it you're going to try to keep your smoker around 200 degrees, and you want an internal temperature of 150 degrees. When that's reached, and depending on your conditions, that could be like 2 to 3 hours on the smoker. You'll be the envy of the neighborhood, because everybody's going to think, wow, what's that? They can smell it. It smells wicked awesome. So go ahead and get your smoker going, 200 degrees. You want an internal temperature of about 150, and that should take 2 to 3 hours depending on your individual situation. So I'll show you, I'll have them show you what it looks like now, and then what it looks like when it's gone onto the smoker.
All right, I'm filming.
What do you think? Yeah.
Double stacker.
Do double.
Put one in.
Yeah, let's go ahead and toss one down the bottom. Oh yeah, definitely.
And the top.
All right, and then how long do you smoke it?
Till it's 150 inside.
All right.
So last night we achieved an internal temperature of 150 degrees, and we took it off, wrapped it in foil, and when it cooled down a bit, we put it in the fridge, and here is the finished product. Smoked bacon,
Wow, that's awesome.
ready for slicing.
That is awesome.
So if we look at the ends and the side,
And
looks just like bacon, ready to slice. So the first thing we do is we kind of get an idea where we want to make the slices from. And
here? No, maybe not there.
I think
maybe
this side.
here. Yeah.
so we
Now-
slip this down on our slicer. And we've done this before, so we know our thickness setting should be around 3. But we may have to experiment a little bit, because this is a different slicer. So we'll give it a couple trial runs here and see.
And you do this just to get it so it's squared up.
So do about 4 or 5 pieces to get the ends squared up nice and neat, and double check your thickness, and then you should be good to go for the rest of the slice.
What's up?
Now what I do here is, because I pretty much it's kind of a universal measurement of bacon. 1 pound is pretty much what you go by, unless you know specifically your needs are less or more. We go standard and do the 1 pound. So what I do is, as he's slicing, I have the scale covered with saran wrap, and I'm watching it to hit about 1 pound. And when it hits 1 pound, he shuts it off, and I place it over here. And when I get a couple of these ahead of time, we take a break, and we've gone ahead.
Pre-made bags.
Right, with the backpack.
With the food saver.
Right.
And dated them.
Right,
And
and that's,
we'll
we have our
vacuum
own
seal.
code. And I just, just as that, another tip, when you're using a backpack, or a vacuum packer, you want to know, dates are really, really important. I always put all of mine in the tab N, I'll go 0121. So, or 0221 or 0321.
So the month and the
So
year.
I always know the month and the year that my package is in there. And then if I need further,
Not that our bacon lasts longer
I
than
know
like
it can never last that long, but I'm consistent in how I mark everything. And then sometimes it's pretty self-explanatory what it is, but you'll have another tag end, and sometimes it might be difficult to know the difference between pulled pork or pulled brisket, or so you'll just write down on the other end what it is, and that's how you keep track in your freezer.
All right, so, and roughly out of these 2 slabs of the bacon, how many pounds does this typically yield?
We started with just under 10, so I'm thinking
10 pounds was a start.
Right, I'm thinking we're going to get about 7.5 to 8 pounds of bacon, but then we also have our favorite, Serious Steve calls it bacon candy. We call it bacon
So
bits.
basically the scraps and stuff.
That will all turn into candy, as there's one more final step that we use those in our eggs and especially in our salads. And these are the treasure. So don't be afraid to take any of your things off, you know, your edges, to square it up if you want a nice piece of bacon, because all these will go into a very nicely finished product in the end. But I'm
Alright.
thinking we're going to get about 8 pounds today.
Okay, so let's do a couple and see the process here.
Got a pound. I actually have a pound right there. So then I take this, and I will put it into the bag. And we seal them all at the end. We don't seal them each individual pound. I let them kind of set there and get along with each other before, and then I just set that bag to the side. All right.
And then you got some already there.
This starts my next one. There, see how beautiful they're coming out now. I mean, you always have those edges that are not always perfect, but that is a beautiful piece of bacon now.
All right, repeat until we have it all done.
Take a picture of that. That's the second pound.
All right, go ahead and put it in.
That's the second pound. Okay, as it turns out, this bacon has, you know, you never know what you get on the inside. And we had a lot of pieces that were like, that's too fatty for bacon. And these are like, there's not enough fat. So you take all these pieces, and then I'm going to show you what to do with them. But we got it more than we normally get for bits. This actually is 1.5 pounds, and we got about 7 pounds of bacon. And that's like some pretty good looking bacon. So I will show you what we do with the bits next. I have to wash my hands first.
Now what are you doing?
Okay, now we're going to vacuum seal the bacon. So we hit the old button, suck the air out.
All right, now stick it in the freezer.
There she is.
All right, now this is what we do next. And as you can see, we have lots of bacon. Well, we have only like 3 packages left, but that's it. So you just toss it in, and obviously you rotate your inventory. And the next thing you'll see is how I prepare the bits. And then the last thing you'll see is what the bits look like at the end. Okay, now here's the making of the bits. The bacon's already in the Ziploc, the backpack bags, and in the freezer. So now what's left, this was about 1.5 pounds of bits. And you cut them all up, chop them all up, because this is the point of this is the bits to go in your salads and stuff. And the way to do that, my hand's wet.
Here.
How about that? All right, you're gonna put about 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of barbecue sauce. And we like the Kinder's is my personal favorite. And I like just the regular original barbecue sauce. So I put about a quarter of a cup to a half a cup. It depends on how many bits you have, and we do have quite a few bits this time. And then to that add almost 2 tablespoons of the brown sugar. And then mix that together. And the liquid eventually does breaks down the clumps of the brown sugar. So, but don't worry about any of this. Just get it as smooth as you have the time to. Really nice, it's glistening. So you're gonna take that and you're just gonna draw it all over the bits. And then get in with your utensils. You want good coverage here. Now you remember this bacon has already been seasoned with the bay and the black peppercorns and the garlic and the salt. And you just kind of, you want them to be consistent in level right across the pan, because you want them to cook evenly. And then you take this all off, and now you have rendered from an almost 10-pound piece of slab of pork belly, you've got a good solid 7 pounds of bacon and 1.5 pounds of bits. So your waste was really low on this, and of course the bigger the pork belly, obviously the better deal for you. But this turned out to be a really nice pork belly in the long run. Okay, on to the grill. Look who I found.
What are we doing?
Today we are going to be doing the bacon bits, the ends of the pork belly that we've turned into bacon. We've smoked it, and then we have all the bits. We've mixed the bits with brown sugar and a barbecue sauce. I think this is Kinder's original barbecue sauce. And you can do this either outside on the smoker or inside in your oven. And we wanted to show you what they look like coming from the oven, because it's really easy. You set your oven to 350. And you put your pan of all the bits in. And that's it.
How long?
About an hour. And lastly, a personal thanks to, I call him Serious Steve from Serious Keto. He inspired me to try this, you know, after watching him. We watched it like 3 times. And this is his recipe. We've changed it up a little bit, but it's basically his recipe. Hop on over to his website and watch how he does it. And be inspired to try it yourself. And Steve, we're trying the Canadian bacon next.
Alrighty, so lunch today, we're gonna fry up some bacon. And it's the bacon that I have that's homemade, but we're just gonna fry that up in the pan. And then here is my 3 scrambled eggs and 3 slices of bacon. I put it on a smaller plate so it looks like it's way bigger.
You hide the bacon.
Oh,
Hide the bacon.
alrighty, well I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Jess. Leave a comment below if you're gonna make your own bacon, if you've been inspired to make your own.
Go for it. It's easy and you'll never look back.
You won't, yeah. Once you've had your own homemade stuff,
Wicked.
you're gonna be doing this. So anyways, we'll see you at the next one. I'm Jess, you're watching Keto Rewind.
Mom, bye-bye.
Bye.